friends, welcome. This is Brian, and I want to walk through a quick tutorial on how to create an animated backgrounds image slider just using CSS. So I had the opportunity to create one of these recently, and thought it was kind of nice and simple and easy to do, and thought I'd share that with you guys. So here goes. So as you can see, I've set up some basic HTML, right? Called this background slider and have a empty body here, but inside the body. So I'm going to start off by just creating a container. We're going to use this container for our content. We're going to have our background image slider on. So I'm just going to, again, create a div with a class of container. And let's set up some styles for that. Actually, let me connect my CSS here first. So let's create a link tag. Um, and connect our styles. All right, now on our container, let's go ahead and add some styles here. So let's go container and let's add in a width and a height. So let's go with the width of 600 pixels. Let's go with the height of 400 pixels. And then let's give this a background color just so we can see what's happening here. We'll give it a little gray so we can see now we've got our container. And let's give that a border radius. So give it some rounded edges here. So our border radius, want to do like 25 pixels. Save that. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and center this just so it's kind of easier to see. So I'm going to come up here and on the body. Let's just give this display flex and say justify content center. And then let's also do align item center. Save that. Let's do this one backwards. Wrong. This is align content center. Oh, never mind. Just kidding. I was right. I just didn't give my body a height. So let's give this a min height of 100 view height. There we go. So now we've got that centered, just so we can see that a little bit better. We've got our container, and this we're going to end up adding a background to this. But in order to do that, in order to make that nice and easy, I'm gonna add position relative to this container. Then I'm gonna go back into my HTML, and inside of this div, I'm gonna add another couple of divs actually, but I'm gonna add another div here. I'm gonna give it a class equal to bg dash container. And what this is going to be is this is going to be the container. We're going to give this a position absolute, make it full width and height. So this is basically like an overlay, which will contain the background. And then we'll have another, I'm going to throw in another one just so we can see as well some text in here. So I'm just going to call this txt dash container. Okay, so we've got our main kind of wrapper container here, and then inside that we're gonna have a background container, and then we'll have some text. So inside our text container, let's go ahead and throw some text in here. Let's put an H1, and let's just call this background slider. And then let's also throw in a p tag here, and just say using CSS animation. Okay, let me save that. Okay, again, this kind of over here, so we could do our display flex again on this one. So I'm just going to copy and paste that in and put that into our .txt container. Oh, and that should be flex direction column. And I didn't give this like a width and a height as well. So let's add a couple things here. We need to add, well, first we want to do position absolute. Want to do top 0, left 0, width 100%, and a height of 100%. There we go. So now we've got that centered, and again, that text area, the text container is just filling that space as well as the background. So what I want to make sure happens though is that this text container needs to sit on top of the background container. So I definitely want to make sure I give this a higher Z index. So I'm just going to go to my text container and give that a Z index of 1. And that should remain on top. So, okay, so now we're going to take our background container, which we had a class of bg-container. And in terms of our position, we want to do the same thing. We're going to do position absolute. And then we want to give that top 0, left 0. And then we also want to give that a width of 100% and a height of 100%. And oops, forgot the colon there, 100%. Let me save that. Okay, so I haven't done anything in terms of the background here yet. So what I want to do is add an animation to this. And let's just call this animation BG slider. And we're going to give that time frame of 15 seconds. I want this to use the ease in and out timing function. So ease in out, and then we want it to just keep running, looping infinitely. So I'm going to say infinite. So now let's create our animation. Come down here, and we're going to do our at keyframes, and this is our BG slider. And then what we want to do is set up some, I'm going to use percent. So I'm going to say at 0%, I'm going to want to change the background image. So I'm going to have the background image utilize images wombat 1 as our starting point, right? And then what's going to happen is for each time we change this percent, we're going to change the background image. So I'm going to go with 25%, or no, let's go with 33%. I want to change this background image to the second image that we have. And then at 66%, we're going to use our third image. And then when it gets when it gets 100%, we're going to use the first image again, but instead of adding a whole another line there, I'm just going to do 100% here. So at 0% and at 100%, we're going to run this one. And as we save that, you can see the background images start to show up. We get our animation. So I just want to do a couple more things real quick on our background container. I'm sorry, on our main container here, we added a border radius, but as you can see, the overflow is showing. So we're no longer seeing that border radius. So what I want to do here is just say overflow hidden. Save that again. Now we're back to our border radius. And then also in our background container, I want to go ahead and add this first image as like the starting point here. So I'm going to put that on my background container initially. And then I also want to set up some background the position and sizing. So I want to do background, position, just going to do center, and then the background size, I want to say cover. Okay. Now when I resave that, you can see it kind of centered that image and it's covering the entire space. And there it is. The one thing I could also do here with the text container, I might want to, well, first I might want to change this text color to white and then maybe give this a bit of a linear gradient background. So let's do that real quick. In our text container, let's just say color and hashtag FF, save that. Okay, now we've got some white text, and then I also want to give this a background. I want to use the linear gradient, and we're going to use RGBA, so we can add a little opacity here, and I'm just going to use 000 for black, and then do 0.25, and we'll copy that and do that for the same thing for our second color. And when I hit save, a little bit, just a slight background so that the color of our text kind of pops just a little bit. But there you have it. That was it. Pretty simple in terms of our HTML, just using a container to kind of wrap these other two divs, our background container, which we're adding our animation to and our background images, and then another div that I have all my text content that's going to sit on top of that background. Maybe other ways to do this. I'm sure there are many, many, many other ways that you can create sliders. Many opportunities. You could use JavaScript and transitions and whatnot, but just using simple CSS animation, we can create a nice, smooth background slider. Thanks for tuning in, checking this out.